Welcome to Learning State Activation. As you settle into this moment, you may begin to notice how your attention explores new ideas even before you consciously decide to explore them. There is a quiet shift that happens whenever curiosity stirs, a soft adjustment in the way you listen, a small opening in the space where learning begins. You do not have to look for it. Your mind already knows these signals because you have experienced them many times before in those moments when something interesting or unexpected caught your focus. And as you follow the sound of these words, you might notice the familiar sense of interest forming again, almost automatically. Not the whole state yet, just the early outline of that learning feeling that prepares you for insights you did not know were coming. Learning begins long before you realize it, and that beginning may already be happening now. There are times in a person's life when learning revealed itself more easily than expected, moments when something shifted quietly inside, long before the mind understood why. You may not recall the details of such a moment, because the details do not matter. What matters is the atmosphere of it. The sense of something beginning to click, the outline of understanding forming just ahead of awareness. And as you notice that outline now, your mind may prepare itself for the same kind of realization again. Not a forced memory, just a familiar pattern awakening. It is the moment before the moment when you sense that something is about to make sense, and in that brief space, when the recognition starts to rise inside you, learning state activation can begin to take shape naturally, almost as if your mind remembers exactly how it happened before. Every mind shifts when a new thought appears, or when a moment of boredom drifts in, and those shifts can become useful signals now. You have noticed how boredom often comes just before curiosity, and how curiosity opens the doorway to learning. So even the smallest flicker of interest, or the faint sense of wanting something new, can remind you that your learning state knows how to awaken. You do not need to push it. When attention moves, even slightly, your mind prepares itself for what comes next. And that preparation is already happening many times each day without you noticing. So each time a wandering thought appears, or a quiet boredom settles, your system can treat that as the beginning of something useful. A gentle reminder that learning state activation is easier than expected, and that your mind has been practicing the steps long before this moment. The body also reveals learning shifts in small expressive ways. A simple smile forming for no reason, or even a brief grimace passing across your face, can signal your mind to brighten in its own natural way. These tiny expressions happen many times each day, and each one carries a moment of adjustment inside it. So whenever your face moves into a smile, or tightens for an instant in a grimace, you can notice a slight quickening in your awareness, as if something inside you knows to pay attention. Nothing dramatic, just a clean spark of readiness. And because these expressions rise and fade on their own, they give you effortless opportunities to notice how learning begins. A small smile, a brief grimace, each becomes a gentle ignition point, reminding your system that learning state activation can form with the same ease your face shifts from one expression to another. Sometimes learning begins in the environment before the mind even notices. A quiet change in the air, a shift in posture, a new sound appearing somewhere around you. Each of these small cues can signal your system to prepare for understanding, not because the environment teaches you, but because your mind uses every detail as a reference for what comes next. And as you sit here noticing the subtle movements in your surroundings, you may find that a similar movement is happening inside your awareness, a soft adjusting, a faint organizing, as if your whole system is making room for the next insight. You do not need to identify which detail begins the shift. The environment simply provides markers your mind has always used, and with each marker, learning state activation grows a little clearer, a little stronger, as if the world around you has been preparing you for this state all along. There comes a moment in every deep learning experience when you realize that you are not only understanding something new, you are understanding the way you understand. This quiet recognition is powerful because it turns each observation into a teacher. When you notice your mind reaching for a pattern, that noticing becomes part of the pattern. When you sense your attention sharpening, that sensation sharpens it further. And as you become aware of how your thoughts organize themselves, the organization strengthens on its own. Learning folds back on itself this way, forming a gentle loop where each realization creates the next. You do not have to guide the loop consciously. Your mind has been building these structures for years, refining them through every experience that shaped you. And the moment you recognize the loop happening now, learning state activation deepens, as if awareness itself becomes both the path and the progress. And now that the structure of learning has begun to reveal itself, you can choose a simple phrase that reminds your mind how easily this state returns, a phrase spoken only inside yourself, in your own voice, so it belongs entirely to you. Something as clean and direct as learning state activation now. When you say it inwardly, your system knows what you mean because it has already practiced the shift throughout this experience. And each time you let the phrase rise inside you, your mind can settle into the same clarity, the same readiness, with even greater ease. The phrase does not force anything. It simply acknowledges what is already happening. And the more often you use it, the more naturally your learning state becomes accessible in everyday moments. A private signal, a personal switch, designed by you, for you, strengthening each time you let it guide your awareness forward. And now your mind can begin returning to a clear and steady awareness, integrating everything useful you discovered here in the exact way that serves you best. Take a slow breath and notice how your body settles, how your thoughts organize themselves comfortably, and how your attention reconnects with the space around you. You may feel a gentle brightness in your focus, or simply a calm readiness growing in the background, reminding you that learning becomes easier each time you engage it. Allow your posture to adjust, your eyes to prepare to open if they have been closed, and your awareness to return to its full clarity. Everything you need to keep is already stored, and everything else can simply fade. Clear, steady presence returning fully now. As you step forward from this session, remember that you have already begun shaping your mind into something sharper, more adaptive, and more capable than before. People who understand how to activate their learning state become powerful in quiet ways. Ideas arrive more easily, patterns reveal themselves sooner, and opportunities seem to stand out where others see nothing. You are now practicing what clever minds and innovators use every day. This is the beginning of a larger journey, and each time you use your learning state activation, you reinforce the identity of someone who learns quickly, thinks clearly, and adapts brilliantly. Golden Boy learners are built, not born, and you have stepped onto that path.